Recruiter here, reviewing your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. I am still sick. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. So if your resume can get past a recruiter that is on the edge of falling asleep and is his last dregs of energy, congrats, your resume is fantastic. And I wish it was the case that when I was reviewing resumes, I was always at 100%, but that is not what happens in life. In life, you are getting called by multiple people at the same time. Your dog may have kept you up all night. You may be suffering from a cold, and your resume still needs to be good enough to deal with those horrible situations. So, we've got a software engineer first. This person did not tell me what type of software engineer they are, so I'm going to guess, but let me try to find what I need in 20 seconds. If I can tell what kind of software engineer you are, full stack, backend Python, backend Java, backend C#.net, or front end, then guess what? That's going to be a win in my book, but I doubt it. So 20 seconds is all the time recruiters have to review, and go. Optimize RGB. Why do I care about that? Vision pipeline. I don't know what that is. Python is good. I mean, there's like nothing here. Projects in building with budgets. Why is this related to be a software engineer? Is there anything here that's actually related? Okay, Python. Well, you already covered that. And okay, so this would get rejected. Let me read what this person wrote, although I will say that as we are in December, at least at the time of recording this, the job market is closed, and it will reopen up again in the second week of January. So if you apply some of my techniques and you see no results because it's December, that's normal. Everything's crazy in recruitment in December, seriously. Like from I'd say the week before Thanksgiving until the second week of January, barring the first week of December, it's chaos in the job market. And that happens like literally year over year. So don't panic if, nothing is happening in the last month, because that's normal. So this person stated, I am graduating this December and have been applying to many entry-level jobs, but I haven't received any interview offers yet. I've taken my resume to my school's career center, oh no, reached out to alumni and followed all their recommendations, but still haven't had any luck, and honestly, I just want any software engineering job. So, while I did review your resume in 20 seconds and say that it sucks, it does, I will say, you do not suck. You have received bad advice, and it's not malicious advice. The problem with job search advice is there are a lot of things that are sort of evergreen, and there are a lot of things that only worked for specific people and specific geographies in specific times. And the problem I have found with most career centers at schools, I have been to some, I have looked at them, is they're outdated, and they worked in an okay market, but when it's an okay to good market, almost anything's going to work. So this is a terrible resume, and I believe that you did follow their advice, but their advice was bad. So as a actual recruiter, let me tell you how to fix this. So the first thing is, you say you want any software engineering job, and I don't blame you. I was there when I graduated college over 15 years ago. I wanted any job. It did not matter what kind. I wanted something to start my career. The problem is that's not what you need to do from a resume. Your resume has to be specific. And if you're going for a software engineer role, these are your 5 main types up here. Are there more? Yeah, there's like AI engineers. There's some like other types that I can't think of off the top of my head, but I will say most of the jobs you will find will be broken down into one of these. And what you need to do is find the qualifications for those specific ones and make your resume based on that stack so that you can mass apply. So your problem is you have none of those. And it's not just keywords. People misunderstand what a keyword is. Keywords are, people think what recruiters look for, but what recruiters look for is qualifications. So what that is, and bear with me a second as I get this up. So I'm going to make an assumption, which is probably incorrect because I don't think you really have any, is you're applying to a Python dev. So we're going to make this as if this was a back-end Python dev. So what I would look for in a back-end Python dev is this stuff. And people think that this is keywords because I scrolled all the way down and I saw a skills section at the bottom. Cool. Guess what? Which is not even on camera, but that doesn't matter. So what a qualification is a keyword plus how you used it, plus where you used it, plus the reason or result of you using it, not counting certificates and education. And if I do not have those 4 things, where it is, the keyword, how, and the reason or result, it does not count as a qualification. So while you do have these skills all the way at the bottom, which people cannot read because it's all the way down there, I need to see them here. If I don't see them here, I cannot move you forward because otherwise you will, well, I would get fired. So you do not want to do that as a recruiter. You need to show how and the reason and result. So that is why that the people at your career center said optimize processing of an RGB and depth data from hardware device, increasing measurement accuracy by 86% and blah, 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 is it sounds impressive to a job seeker, but it does not sound impressive or even relevant to a hiring team, both the recruiter and the hiring manager. So I'm going to need you to redo all of this. And I really hate saying that because also the formatting is bad. But again, a bigger issue is the bullet points. I would rather have bad formatting than bad bullet points. But on the formatting, what you need to do, this right here, this is how you want to do it. It's on my website. The link is below. It's free. And then your resume should look like this. The only resumes that should not look like this are high-level directors and some contracting jobs, and if you have more jobs than years of experience. Those are the only 3 people that do not want to use this. Software engineer, you want to use this. Barista, you want to use this. Accountant, you want your resume to look like this. Lower level manager, you want your resume to look like this. This is what you want it to look like. But none of the formatting matters if you don't have the bullet points, and in this case, you don't. So I'm going to need you to redo this, all of it, make it look like the thing I just showed you, and then I just want to see stuff that says developed I don't know, let's say full stack web page using Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and TypeScript, or Python, SQL, Docker in a AWS environment, and then the next one will be with Git, CI/CD, and RESTful APIs. And I need you to show me how and the reason and result. So this is why you're having problem, and again, it is partly the advice that you have been given. And I don't think it's malicious. It's just, again, I have to keep updating my own advice every 4 to 5 months because the job market changes that much. And it's entirely probable that in 2 years, the advice I'm giving you right now may not matter. But in 2 years from now, I'm going to be updating it so that it is relevant because there is a ticking clock on all advice in the job market because it varies on so many things. So if you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. Please like, comment, subscribe. Send this to your friends and family that need help because your path to employment begins here. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full stack developer. This is their 2nd or 3rd resume. They are currently on my stream right now. So I will review this as if they did not exist. And then afterwards, I will help them even more. But what we need for a full stack dev is degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, GraphQL, SQL, API, RESTful APIs, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, .NET or Python or Java, and bonus points for architecture, external language, Git, and DevOps. So can we find it in 20 seconds? Probably. I don't know if their ratio, although I think they were international, so their ratio is going to be way worse. I can even tell you how I've helped international people is when they went 1 in 500, which is it takes them over 500 applications to get an interview. After they used my formula, it gets to be 1 in 30, which is fantastic. But since Trump changed how things work with an executive order, that went from a 1 to 30 to a 1 to 100, and that's unfortunately good for internationals. Unless you are a green card holder or you have a TN visa, I think you're gonna have to apply for a ton of jobs. So let's see at least if this is good, and it should be because again, this is like their 3rd time. So and go. All right, good, clear. Built a learning management system using React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, good, and Node.js for student interactive course projects. Integrated backend service PostgreSQL and AWS, okay. Build features using React, Angular, and JavaScript. Good. Automation, develops internal AWS, Jode, PostgreSQL, and I think that's it. Is there anything I would change? Not really. I mean, this is pretty solid. Again, their biggest issue is going to be that sometimes people in the U.S. do not view work experience outside the U.S. as valued. But this is how you would write this. My only concern is I'm wondering if, and I'm like mulling it over in my head, if we should just combine this into a singular job, since you've only been there for about 5 months. And I think it might be possible. So you just do built a learning management system, good, using React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Node.js. So we were going to put using React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, comma, PostgreSQL, and Node.js in an AWS environment, and then we can have that to support real authentication and stuff. So I think that might be the only thing we really need to do, only because you've only been there for like 5 months and it's 2 bullet points, and your experience down there is pretty good. But this is still, if you were in the US, not in the US, if you were not international, this would probably get you like a 1 in 15, 1 in 10, which is again the ratio of how many applications takes to get an interview. You want less than 1 to 50, but as an international, this might be 1 in 100 to 1 in 125, which unfortunately, based on the political climate, is the best I think you're going to be able to do with that. So overall, though, very good. This is how I want to see these resumes structured. This has almost everything I need, and because it was formatted like this, I could read and understand everything in the first half of the first page. And look, I actually got what I needed in exactly the first half of the first page. So good job. Not much more room for improvement. It's just there's a tough political climate. So let's go to the next resume. This is another full stack developer. So this person's ratio is unknown. So let me see if I can find what I need in 20 seconds and go. I hate this formatting. Okay, so education is good. Developed admission systems. WhatsApp integration with API. These are not good bullet points, but they're better than nothing. Probably could not move you forward. So, this is a bad resume, mainly in formatting. The actual bullet points are not good, but they're not the worst ever. There's like degrees of bad, like there's, oh, this is awful, burn it, never look at it again. And there is, this is bad, but there's like, you don't need to change a lot. So there are 2 things with this resume. One, this formatting is awful, terrible formatting. Burn it, do not do it. I've never seen a single resume be improved by more than 1 column. Even if you don't use my formatting, even if you don't, please, for all the things you can imagine, never do double column. I have never in my life seen a double column resume do better than a single column resume, specifically on formatting. So, formatting, again, do this, not whatever this is. And then down here, though, on the bullet points is you're very close to how I want these written. So, I want it to say, instead of develop university admission system, is used PHP, SQL, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap to create our university admission system for secure student management, right? So again, I want to know a little bit more context. So desktop applications using VB.NET and C# and Java, okay, but like, why did you? Like, what educational purposes? And this is, so again, you have almost the right idea on these bullet points. These bullet points are actually, like I said, while they're not the worst ever, while not good, they are salvageable. What I do want, though, is I want a little bit more of actual full stack, because the only thing I really see is HTML, SQL, PHP. I guess because you use Java, it's okay there. It's But, like, I'm also missing RESTful APIs. I'm missing, SQL. Here it is. I don't think people can even see it because it's so far down. I missed it because it's so far down and it's bolded weirdly. So I need a little bit more of these, but primarily I need a better formatting because this is an abomination. So, yeah. But, hey, props. You got the bullet points mostly correct. You just need to tweak it a little bit. So, let's go to the next resume. Oh, wait, what did they say? Sorry. Again, still sick. Things are not all up here right now today. I'm going to find full stack software dev or software engineering. Okay, yeah. There's no more context there in what they said. To summarize, because I feel like I'm rambling, formatting, boo, bullet points, could be better. Next resume. This is, I don't know. Again, I don't know. Y'all did not tell me. You need to tell me specifically what type of engineer you are. Is it full stack, backend, Python, Java, C#, .NET, front end, or whatever? My choice. So, yeah. This person says they have a 1 to 75 or less. They say, normally I review it blank, but, like, again, I don't know what I'm looking for, so I'm going to read their note first. My career path is not very conventional. I've jumped from intern to technical director and then back to software engineer. What? Titles don't matter, but still, that's weird. Titles don't matter, though. My tech stack is pretty broad because of that, so I'm having a hard time narrowing down my skills and fitting into open roles I see on LinkedIn. I have a lot of experience as a Unity developer, but there are very few jobs in that category that I could see. Yeah, that would be game dev, I think. And to my knowledge, game dev is even worse than software engineering, which is saying a lot. I was hoping you would help me choose the closest career path to pursue. I can't do that. I really wish I could. That is actually a common question I get is, what do you think I should do? And the answer is, I can't decide that. I'm not able to decide what you do. After you've picked what you want to do, I can tell you if you are showcasing those qualifications, but I cannot tell you what to do. Partly because I don't know your life situation, I don't know your skills, and also because that is a decision that you personally should make. I don't think that is a decision I should make. I know people want me to, but, like, I can't really do that. If I say, oh, you should be a Java developer, well, cool, you don't have any of these stuff. So, the closest career path to pursue, whether I pivot to C# or stick to Unity. Okay, so I'm going to assume this is, again, we're going to be C#. So let's do this as a C# .NET software developer. That is the closest I can think of. So what we need is .NET, C#, SQL, Cloud, Azure, AWS, or GCP, MVS, Microsoft Visual Studios, Git, Agile, RESTful API, CI/CD, front end. I don't know why they went front end and it's a little bit full stack. I just saw a lot of them that basically wanted C# full stack. Cross-functional DevOps and ASP.NET. So 20 seconds to find it. And go. Okay, C# I care about. I don't care about the other part. Use C#, good. JSON, I don't care about. Docker, I might. I mean, fleet orchestration is neat. MongoDB, maybe. AWS, UI, UX, GitHub, CI/CD. Yeah, I think this is very much a 75 to 1, is that you have some of the stuff I need, and about 1 in 75 jobs will be able to find the qualifications in your resume, but the rest of them won't. My recommendation is, if you are going for C#, I need more of this stuff because I only found about 40 to 50%. Formatting wise, you were very, very close to my format. There's a slight error, which is this is not correct. Again, there should be no gap between these, and this should not be bolded. And then same on the work history, is there's too big of a gap between these, but beyond that, it's fine. I think a big thing is I just don't have enough. And you also were the technical director. Man, I'm trying to think of how to do this. If anything, I would just call yourself software engineer. I mean, again, titles don't really matter because you did do stuff of software engineering, and I assume it wasn't just that. So yeah, that would be my thing, is to basically, like, because, okay, so here's my issue with this, right? You wrote these okay. The problem is, as you rightfully identified, is what is this career path? And this is the kind of thing where it's like, well, hold on, why did you go from intern to technical director to software engineer too? Again, like why did you go from here to here to here? Is there any, then a front end developer intern. So this is what I would like you to do. Don't put 2. All right. You don't want to put 2. Don't put any numbers on your title. Most of them don't mean anything. I've seen senior software engineers have less experience than people that said associate or just software engineer. Again, titles are largely irrelevant. Then we want to crunch this down. Should be no more than 8 bullet points max. Right now there's too many. There's, I think, 10 if I'm counting quickly. And some of this stuff is repeated and irrelevant. And then down here, I would just say software director or lead software director. So titles don't matter much, but lead at least makes a little bit of sense. Is if you're a lead, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a ton of experience. It does mean that you are good at coaching others. So I would change that to lead software engineer, because it sounds like you did that. I mean, you did do hiring and onboarding. Again, it's fine, but are you looking for that role? Because that's different. If you're looking for lead roles, we want a little bit of stuff from there. But otherwise, I would leave a lot of that out. So overall, again, 1 in 75, which is like a D-, it's bad, but it's not the worst ever, and there's some salvageable stuff here. There's a lot of salvageable stuff. If you make those changes, you should have a lot more interviews come January, because again, nothing's going to matter until January, the second week. Next, resume. This is a help desk or technical support engineer or IT support. They have like 30 different names, but they're all the same thing. So what we need for help desk is Mac OS, Linux, Android, Windows, one of those. So basically, what environment are you doing the tech support on? Education, some of them want high school, some of them want college. Customer service, troubleshooting, problem solving, networking. You don't need everything from the networking list. You just need one of those. And I'm not going to repeat all of those. Multitask, meet deadlines, your industry. So again, Azure versus LAN WAN versus CRM. Those are going to matter. And Jira, Office, Microsoft 365, Active Directory, and a bonus for CompTI, Microsoft Certified Desktop Support, and PowerShell. So can I find it in 20 seconds? Let's find out. And go. Okay, formatting is slightly hard to read. But you have what I need. Restore system access for employees. Okay, the logging authentication failures in Active Directory. Oh, good. I really like this. Workflow interruptions, standard workflows, deployment with Intuit, already a team viewer. Okay, improve remote connectivity, resolving issues with strength. Okay. This is good. This does pass. It can be better. I want to be very clear. This will pass. This will get some interviews, but it can be better. So when I'm picking on this, I'm not saying it's garbage. It's not. I'm just trying to find the flaw to give you from a 1 to 50 to a 1 to 25 or so, which is a better ratio. So let me read what you wrote. I've applied to about 100 roles so far and have had 8 interviews. Okay, so it's way better. That's a 1 in 15? Brain. One of them progressed to a 3rd round in person, but I haven't heard back yet with it if I got an offer. I think I mentioned this last week on the stream, and I'm really not sure what to do next. It is, unfortunately, just December, and follow up in a couple of days again, but like, if I kind of have a theory that if every single recruiter took a vacation during the entire month of December, not much in the market would change. We also should be very refreshed for January, which is, again, the biggest job boom of the year, from the second week of January to February, March, the end of March. So this is just a symptom of it being December. This is what happens, is that recruiter is either sick or on vacation or laid off, or alternatively, the manager is sick or on vacation, and when they came back, the recruiter got sick, and then they have a bunch of other stuff towards end of year, and then there's budgeting things. So again, December is chaos for recruitment. It's absolutely a nightmare, and it starts a little bit in November, but after the first week of December, it's pure chaos. So I've been editing my resume frequently, and I know it's a bit different from the traditional format. If it's not working, I'm open to changing it again and just refine it. I mean, you need to change a little bit of the formatting. but your bullet points are mostly good. Again, there's some slight tweaks, but they're not a ton of tweaks. I'm currently targeting IT help to support. I know I don't have a lot of experience yet, but I'm highly motivated and eager to learn. That's nice. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help people get jobs. I wish it did. I wish motivation got people jobs. I feel like my job would be easier if motivation was a factor. I really just want to land a role, start building experience. I generally enjoyed the videos. For those, my main goal is to secure a job by January. You probably won't, which is not indicative of you. It's just that, again, the market shuts down in December. This is year over year over year. So, things we can do to improve. Number 1, fixture formatting, okay? It needs to be a little bit different. If you look, this is slightly different, right? So this is not this. The margins are slightly different. So what you want to do is, again, 10.5 Arial, and the spacing should be 1.5. So this is probably 1.15 spacing and not Arial. And then don't have these underlines here or here. Now, on to the actual bullet points. This first bullet point is fantastic. 10 out of 10, no notes. You have you have basically everything I want, right? Windows, boom. And we already found the education up top. Let's see, we've done troubleshooting and problem solving, boom. We've done Microsoft 365, done. I think there's Active Directory there. Yeah, Active Directory, awesome. Let's see, Outlook we've got, which is good to have. I think I should have added that. And that's it for there, but that's already like 30% of what I need. Then the second bullet point, it's not letting me highlight it. There's not much here besides Windows and Mac, and you already had Windows, so the only thing here I'm really looking for is Mac. And the problem is this is not what I need a little bit more here than just standardized workflow to this. So I'm not sure this is a super strong bullet point to have at the second. Then improved remote connectivity by resolving these issues. Perfect. That's good. I would say, you know what? No, I'm going to make again, this is nitpicky, I would say resolved network connectivity or resolved remote connectivity issues. No, yeah, again, there's a way to phrase this and I can't think of it. After this video ends, I'll tell you how to phrase it because I need a couple of seconds. Let's see. Say to reduce recurring access problem for all the team. Minimal down. Again, this is mostly good. There's a small tweak. And then supported smooth. I don't like that. I don't want you to say smooth IT operations. Again, that's too open to interpretation. By managing and closing incidents in ServiceNow and Zendesk, that is good. I would say, if anything, just say closed incidents and managed operations in ServiceNow and Zendesk, which, see, again, I don't like the 30%, right? You don't want to have these percentages because they're too open to interpretation about if that is good or not. I would just say to improve our ticket handoffs for follow-up teams so that there were less errors, right? Something along those lines. This is also solid. So yeah, overall, good, all right? I want to be clear. Good resume. I'm being nitpicky. The fact that you are able to get 8 interviews for every 100 in December is fantastic. You just need to tweak these just a little bit. And while I don't think you're going to have a role by January just because everything is shutting down because it's December, you should have one by February. So that's all I can do for this episode. If you ever need more help, please join my live stream where this person's at. I'm going to help them out a little bit more every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And, share it to your friends and family that need help. And I'm here to make sure that you get ahead of your job search. So I will see you all in the next video.